So that's a good segue to my next question. So I don't think people think of New York City as a real veterans town, veterans hometown, but we have, you can tell me how many millions of veterans we have here, hundreds of thousands. Why is New York City a good place for veterans to live and work? What would you tell a veteran who's thinking about moving to New York? What's your pitch?
I guess my pitch is that you can have the greatest, I guess, return on investment for your family, as far as bang for buck for your family by being here, than in many other places in the country. Meaning that I'm not just speaking to that veteran as that one man or woman leaving the service, but speaking to that person who has, already has loved ones around them, who's thinking about this from cradle to grave. We could start with looking at the educational system here, if you're thinking about your children, where, at the younger levels, having a universal pre-K program here. Studies show that speaks volumes as far as the longer term just success of that young person as they matriculate and grow up. You could look at the offerings as far as just I think somewhere around over 2 million New Yorkers have a bachelor's degree or higher, which speaks several things about the education system that brought them into that, as far as the public educational network and the independent network here. So that your child can be able to get a good educational experience. And we have over 120 colleges and universities here. So, I think that there's enough to speak to if you're thinking about the young ones. If you're thinking about work, and this is a comment that is really beyond just COVID, but just in general, there's so many sectors within this city, within this economy, that you can pick your poison as far as the area that you want to pursue and be able to succeed. It could be anything from construction. It could be anything to include additive manufacturing, to include finance, to include the number 2 tech hub, in the country is New York City. And over the last 10 years, that ecosystem has grown 3 times as fast as the nation's. So, there's so many different areas where, if you're looking to work for government, there's several government sector jobs here. There's so many areas where you and your spouse and those you love who are with you can find, a place to go as far as to scratch the itch of, employment in the city. I think, another one I've got to briefly call this one out, and then I'll call a long one out in a second, is this robust transportation network, so that you have the 300 square miles that is this city as your oyster, and it is accessible through all the different means of transportation. I'm talking about everything from the subway to the bus to we've got to boats that will literally shuttle you from place to place in the city to get to things. And then the last one I really want to stress, as far as why I think New York City is an attractive place for veterans, is housing. And I think housing, people don't usually think of that when they think of the city. When I say it, I look at it like this. I think that we have a more robust network of assistance of veterans as far as wherever they are in their housing journey than many other places in the country. When I say wherever they are, we're talking about if you have needs that involve, I need supportive housing, this is a place where we can support you. If it's, I need transitional housing, this is a place where we can support you. If it's, I'm looking for affordable housing, where this is a place where we're actively creating more and more affordable units. So it's something that, compared to other places in the country, it's just more likely to happen. And then transitioning to programs like Mitchell Lama for folks on the apartment side, on the co-op side, to looking at home ownership, be it in co-ops, be it in condos, be it in homes, and then leveraging things like the VA home loan program, where this is the only city in America that has an agency dedicated to veteran services. And because we have an agency, we have the ability to do things like say to a veteran, let me help you connect these dots on these different areas you're trying to go to, including the ones that touch the Sony May program, including the ones that touch Mitchell Lama, including the ones that touch the VA home loan. So I think housing is another strength where if you don't think about it, you may say, oh, it's a high cost place. I don't know if I can do this. But thanks to the wonderful network of organizations here, to include the Jericho Project, we can hit you at whatever weight class you are at as far as your housing needs.